Defeat enemies while changed into a monster, and the badge's skill level will increase. When the experience bar is full, the badge's level goes up. At a certain point, you'll be able to change into the next grade of monster. Plus, when you've reached the master level, you'll get a reward item from the badge. The reward depends on the badge.
Inventing starts with collecting ideas, and all you need to do to collect ideas is to take pictures with a camera. If you press the square button with your camera set to the active item, the screen will switch over to the viewfinder. Move the viewfinder with the left analog stick and press the square button again to take the picture. On the viewfinder screen, you can view all the pictures you've taken so far with the triangle button. To find out if the pictures can be used for an invention, just look for little light bulb marks next to the picture's name. That's how you know what you can use. Now here's something to keep in mind about the camera. In non-dungeon areas, the camera can be set anywhere you like. But when you're in the dungeons, if the camera isn't set to an active item and the marker isn't on the camera, you won't be able to use it. Don't forget, all right? When you get everything together, then comes the actual inventing. You can do this from the Make command on the main menu. The invention cards will be lined up on the left. Now, in order to invent something, select New Invention at the very top, and then choose the 3 items you want to use. If the items are matched up correctly, your invention is a success. The item you invent will be registered as a card. Just remember, just 'cause you get this far, it doesn't mean you're finished. No sirree. All you'll have at this stage are plans for actually making the invention. So next, I'll tell you how to actually make your new gadget. Select the invention card for your new item from the Make menu. Decide how many you want to make by pressing left or right on the directional button, and finish up by selecting Yes with the directional button. If you don't have enough supplies to create your item, you can pick them up at a shop or some other place. So you think you got that down? Well, go on and make new items to your heart's content. Max, changing the ravaged world back to normal is a pretty hefty job. You have to move people from Palm Brinks all around in order to help the world of the future grow. To move people, first you gotta get them on the train as part of your party, and then take them with you on your journey. Everyone has their own problems, son, so if you can help them out first, I'm sure they'll join us in our quest to bring the world back to life. You can even take the people from the train into the dungeons with you to help you fight monsters. If you talk to them inside the train and choose Add to Party, you can make them a third-party member. Now, the third-party member won't actually be able to fight, but they sure can back you up with their different support abilities. Choose your third-party member from the character part of the main menu. On the support character screen, you can choose the ability you want them to use. Using the third-party member's ability to your advantage can really help you fight your way through the dungeons.
The further you get into dungeons, the more dangerous it gets. Depending on the situation, Max, sometimes it's better for me to take over the fighting. In situations like that, choose me from Characters on the main menu. With my sword and my magic, I can take on even the toughest monsters. Sometimes there's more than one exit to a dungeon. When there's more than one, you'll see an emblem on each exit. Find the emblems of the exit routes you haven't tried yet on the dungeon tree map using the Move command to view. That way, you can be sure to try all the exits.
Hey there, do you fish? I'm gonna tell you how it's done. You can fish in 2 different places, on the normal map and in dungeons. First, you gotta equip a fishing rod. Just use the item menu, like you would for a weapon. Then you bait the hook. You're not gonna catch a thing if you don't have any bait on there. With the rod equipped in your right hand, select your bait with the X button and choose Put on Fishing Hook from the item commands. When you want to switch bait, select the new bait in the same way to automatically replace the old stuff. Now you're ready to fish. Walk along the water and find a good spot. A prime location is key. After you've settled on a place to fish, press the X button to confirm your choice. Use the left analog stick to move the cursor and select your casting spot. Press the X button again to confirm the casting spot. That's where you're gonna cast your hook. Now you have to watch the bobber. If the bobber sinks into the water, quickly pull the left analog stick down toward you. If your timing's good, you'll catch a fish. Now you've got one on the line! Keep pressing the X button to reel it in! Now pay attention to the bar on screen. This shows the current tension of your fishing line. If it goes too far, the line will snap and your catch is history. Adjust your reel timing so the tension bar doesn't get too high. Get your fish onto the banks and it's yours to keep! The rules are the same inside a dungeon, but you gotta kill off all the enemies first. You'll catch different fish depending on the place, the time, and your bait, so keep trying. Fishing is a deep sport. Enjoy! Oh-ho! Looks like you found a lure. Let me tell you how to fish with one of those. First, you put the lure on the rod, just like you do with regular bait. Choose Put on Fishing Hook from the lure commands and you're good. Just like bobber fishing, pick a choice location. Then you gotta choose your casting point with the left analog stick. When you've decided, press the X button to cast. Use the left analog stick to move the rod when the lure hits the water and the X button to reel it in. Lure fishing relies on rod movement and line reeling to attract fish. Try a lot of different combinations. When you've pulled the lure all the way in, cast it out again. Repeat as necessary. If a fish approaches as you're reeling in your line, your hands will feel it bump against you. Quickly pull the stick towards you. If your timing's good, you'll hook the fish. If you can't feel it, use the mark on the lure's head to judge when to pull it in. Now that you've got one, keep pressing the X button to reel it in. Watch the line tension. Lure fishing is challenging, so make sure you get some practice in.
Hey Max, it's Need here. How you doing? I've decided to hold a fishing contest from time to time in Palm Brinks. During a fishing contest, if you catch a big fish, bring it to the weighing tent which you'll find in the Palm Brinks Town Square. But bear in mind that fish you've been feeding and keeping as pets don't count. While we're weighing fish for the contest, the message Fishing Contest will appear on the main menu screen. You can weigh up to 10 fish in each contest and you'll get points for the best 3. If you win, you'll be honored with a prize. If you weigh in 3 or more fish and go to the race master after the race and select Total Up, your top 3 fish will be totaled and the race results displayed. There are loads of great prizes to be won, so go for it and catch a whopper. The world has been driven crazy by Emperor Griffin, who everyone calls the Dark Ruler. This has caused a lot of peculiarities. Spheda is a sport which makes use of these peculiarities. All over the world there are holes in time called time distortions. Fragments of time called spheres have been knocked out of the time distortions. In order to block the holes, you need to put the spheres back in. You can't touch the spheres, so you'll need to use a Spheda rod to aim at the time distortion and then take a shot. The spheres and the distortions can be red or blue. Red ones repel each other and blue ones repel each other, so if a sphere hits a distortion of the same color, it won't go in. If a sphere hits the floor or a wall, it changes color. Use your skill to change a sphere to the right color before aiming for a distortion. When a sphere goes into a distortion, the distortion will disappear and the treasure inside will come out. Collecting treasure is well and good, but the main goal is to eliminate as many distortions as possible to help with the world right.
Howdy there. Putting our magnum opus Carpenterian to good use, are you? Alrighty then, why don't I just explain how you use Carpenterian to build up your towns? By pressing the select button in areas where you can build towns, you can switch over to the Carpenterian control mode. It'll switch to an aerial view, so you'll be able to tell you're there. If you press the triangle button in this mode, you can access the diorama menu. Now then, here's how you go about building stuff. There are tons of things you can do, so it's best to play around and learn as you go. First, you have to build your diorama parts before you can place anything on the ground. Once you have the necessary materials, make the parts with the make command. Then, with the place command, choose where on the ground to put stuff. Before you start, you'll have to collect geostones, stones filled with the wisdom of the ancients. They're scattered all over the dungeons. Then, put them into the Carpenterian's reactor, and you can build up your library of available parts. Well, we'll be the ones actually putting the geostones into the reactor. All you gotta do is go and find them. Okay, now I'll tell you how exactly to go about placing your parts on the map. Choose place, and then choose your part, and then you'll arrive at the placement screen. Decide the spot you want to put it with the left analog stick, and rotate the part with the L2 and R2 buttons to choose the angle you want to place it in. When you've found a good spot and angle for it, just press the X button to set the part down there. Depending on the part, you can stack them or attach them to the roofs of houses and so on. Just have fun and experiment with it. For lamps and items that attach to the sides of walls, first take the part to the top of the building and then press the X button. Then attach it to the building and choose the wall with the L2 and R2 buttons, and decide its position on the wall with the left analog stick. All these steps might be a little confusing, but I'm sure you'll get the hang of it in no time, lad. Now, Max, let me tell you how to populate these areas you'll be restoring from here on out. In order to move people, first you have to have people on the train with you, see? If there's no one on board, just go back to your own town and find some people to recruit. So, when you have people with you, you press the X button in front of the door of one of your new houses to select whether to go inside or to move people there. Here, you select Move People In, and next, you choose the person you want to move from among the people inside the train. Once you do this, they'll start a new life in their brand new home. We need people for the world of the future to grow, right? So don't be lazy about gathering people now. Once you've reworked the land and started your town, you should try taking the red time gate to the future. If you fulfilled all the conditions, the future should be developing differently than it was before. When you want to come back to the present, just jump through the blue time gate. The things you'll get by helping the future develop will in turn help you solve the problems of the present. And again, that will have an effect on the future as well. If you try hard and keep this up, I know you'll be able to restore the future to its true form, lad. What's this? Don't understand how to develop the future, you say? Okay. There's a command called Analysis on the diorama menu, so just select that. You should be able to find the conditions for developing the future written out there. Future developments are written on large lamps on the left. If you fulfill all the conditions for that development, the lamp will light up. For each lamp you light up, something in the future will be changed. You just keep working at it. Help develop the future. Conditions, marked with question marks, will open up as you obtain more geostones. So, if you get stuck, just go explore deeper into the dungeons. You can check your total progress at the complete section of the diorama analysis. You can still move forward, even if you're not at 100%. But there's a surprise waiting for you if you get all the way to 100%. So you might want to try and find out what that is, eh? Among the conditions for developing the diorama is one that requires you to obtain at least a certain number of culture points, or CP. The culture points shows the level of the culture in that area. You can check the culture points with Culture on the diorama menu. To raise your culture points, the best thing to do is to build more buildings, but just building them won't get you that far. To milk more points out of the buildings, try doing different stuff, like adding chimneys and lamps. You know, make it nice and fancy. For example, rather than building 2 houses, you might be able to get more culture points out of 1 house with a lamp and a chimney, you know.
Hey, great timing! I've decided to hold a new event, the Finny Frenzy. Contestants make their fish race each other. I've got a lot of major prizes up my sleeve, so make sure you take part. While the fish race is being held, the message Finny Frenzy will appear on the main menu, so bring along the fish you want to participate when you see it. Obviously, it all takes place in Palm Brinks Town Square. Seeing as you're a novice fish racer, let me give you a few pointers on how to raise the fish. Naturally, you'll need an aquarium. Put fish you catch into the aquarium, which you'll find on the item screen. Use the aquarium command to see the fish that you've already put in. There are 3 tanks for training your fish. The first tank is the rec tank. This is where your fish usually live and eat. How strong they get depends on the type of food you give them, so choose wisely. The second tank is the battle tank. It's for improving your fish's toughness for when they collide during a race. If you put 2 or more fish into this tank, they'll fight each other and improve their skills, so there's no point in just having 1 fish in there. One thing, if you don't remove a fish before its HP runs out, it'll die, so watch out. And now for the last of the 3 tanks. This third tank is the breeding tank. You can combine 2 different fish to make stronger fish. There's no point in just having 1 fish in this tank either. As time passes, and if the breeding is successful, the 2 breeding fish will die, but in their place 2 new fish will be born. Even though the two new fish inherit their parents' abilities, if the parents weren't strong, then their children won't be either, so bear this in mind. It can take a long time to improve your fish's skills in the battle tank and achieve success in the breeding tank. If you want to spend all your time watching the fish, that's fine, but it's probably better to take care of other things at the same time. Time will pass just as real time does, so you just need to keep an eye on the fish every now and then. Right, now I'll tell you how to enter the Finny Frenzy. Go to the tent in Palm Brinks Town Square and speak to the race master if you want to take part. You can enter 3 races at a time. It's up to you whether you enter the same fish 3 times or a different fish for each race. Fish get tired, so entering the same fish for 3 races isn't such a good idea. If you leave the tent before all 3 races are completed, that will be the end of the whole fish racing competition, so remain in the tent for the duration of the entire competition. Okay, so you've told the race master you want to participate. Now you have to choose the fish you're entering from the aquarium. At this stage, you can only choose a fish from the rec tank. Then you must choose the class you want to enter. Try to choose the most appropriate class to match your fish's level. Lastly, choose the tank you would like to use to make your final pre-race preparations. Think carefully about the fish's character, as the tank that you choose will have an effect on their performance. After all that, the race will start. Now all you can do is watch. Keep a close eye on the race and root hard for your fish to win. There are some great prizes to be won, so go for it! Raise a champion!
The road to adventure is long and perilous. When you want to take a break in your adventuring, be sure to record the progress you've made so far. Here and there along your travels, you'll find a mysterious glowing book. Approaching this book and pressing the X button will bring you to a screen where you can record your adventure's progress. The next time you play, you can pick up your adventure where you left off. Always remember to record your progress. Don't let any of your hard adventuring go to waste.